Welcome to CEO Money. I'm Michael Yorba. Thanks for joining with us. All right, I have Brittany Burtz. She is the co-founder and CEO of Universal Tutor. She's also the co-founder of ETT Corporation. Brittany, welcome to the show.
Hi, Michael. Thank you.
Thanks for being here. I want to know if you can give us some background on ETT, and well, I'm going to dive into Universal Tutor. And one of the questions I have is the way that you are evolving education using technology that is going to impact the world. It's not just a localized thing. This is a global project that you're involved with.
Thank you. Yes, it very much so. And one of the reasons Universal Tutor is a subsidiary underneath ETT, the corporation, is that ETT is highly focused on changing global markets, countries, economies, evolving those economies, impacting the happiness quotient, which a lot of countries are measured in today. If you research it, the rulers are looking for how do we make our people happier? How do we raise that? I know if we pay attention to the metrics every year that come out, Norway, Finland, are usually in the top, either the very happiest country in the world, and then the other one they trade off every year with one another. But so many other countries are looking at that saying, hey, we want to up our happiness quotient as well. And how do we go about doing that? So in addition to happiness, jobs play a big role in that, access to jobs, reducing the unemployment, etc. So, Universal Tutor as an education technology company, I believe, is a foundational element to creating economic growth and change. I believe changing the education industry and evolving it to the next level is vital for a lot of these nations, and the United States being one. But we're looking at every country around the world, and we're looking at working with organizations like the United Nations who are highly focused in affecting these global markets in that way.
You also, it's not education for one age group. You cover all of them, but tell me why children learn differently. What you found out by going down this path?
Well, so my background is in coaching, in neuro-linguistic programming, timeline therapy, and a little bit of hypnotherapy too, but using positive psychology and neuro-linguistics with young adults and adults, you can really create amazing change and help people move beyond their limitations and step into their power, their self-awareness, and their ability to create meaningful relationships and a meaningful, holistic self-view as well, which is so important. I always wanted to take those same concepts and start in the imprinting stages of childhood, because by the time a child is 5 to 8 years old, their programming is set, and psychology has shown us that. So it's been a dream of mine to start with the younger ages and give them the tools necessary in order to live their highest potential, in order to be self-aware and have self-esteem and create meaningful relationships and really go out into the world and do something fantastic that they're destined to do.
Now, there is a evolution, and in your case, a revolution of how this educational process is being addressed on a global scale. Talk to that.
Absolutely. I mean, you see it happening here in the United States rapidly. We've been watching for the last few years the state boards of education here in the US making mandate after mandate or notification after notification that is sent down from the top all the way to the administrators in school districts, whether it be public, private, charter, etc., saying, hey, the future is in social and emotional learning. We have curriculum, yet there's another curriculum outside of that, and the proof is available. There have already been amazing studies done where you take a student and you start to teach them about themselves. So they have self-esteem. You start to teach them critical thinking, problem solving, self-esteem, self-awareness, goal setting, social perceptiveness, and all of a sudden their grades improve, their attendance improves. It's not about learning all the time more math, science, and history, but what they see is massive growth in that child when they learn more about themselves. So these soft skills, even the state boards of education are realizing are some of the most important topics. So there's a huge push in the US right now. And then we look at other countries around the world who are looking for the same thing. You look at countries in Asia, in China, South Korea, they're very excited about incorporating these 21st century concepts as well. India is another focal point of ours, where we're moving our software into, and Europe. Every country really is looking to upgrade their education systems.
I wanted to know where you see the growth coming from in regards to the educational growth, utilizing these pathways to a better society. Is it really in Eastern Europe? Is it in Asia? Is it here in the U.S.? Who's adapting quicker?
Well, I think for sure Northern Europe and the Scandinavian countries have always been the leaders. In my opinion, from years of assessing the education industry, they have a little bit of a different approach than other countries when it comes to supporting the child, to not necessarily shoving academics at them as early as possible, but helping them develop these life skills and these self skills first. And they're now being ranked the happiest countries in the world year after year. These are some of the wealthiest countries in the world. We have a lot to learn, I believe, from these Scandinavian countries. And now others are picking up on the idea, and they're saying, you know what, we want to consider some of these other alternatives in addition to the other great things that we're doing.
How do you see the industry sector evolving? I mean, because this is a revolution with what you're doing. Most people don't think about it. Covering this part of the education. It's not that ingrained. It's new stuff. How do you see this evolving? Is our society going to completely do a flip-flop because we're finally addressing the human side of people versus the analytical side of people? I want to know this.
It's such a good question. We are going to see things change. They have to change. And that's why, especially in the U.S., they're ready for change. The violence that's been going on, and we see far too much of it, it just shouldn't be happening. A lot of children, we look at the inner city schools, are going home to very difficult situations every day. So the question is, how can we help this child prepare themselves for the emotional and circumstances that they face, that they will face, that they are facing, and help them realize that there's something greater that's available. There's a greater community of connectedness, and you can believe in yourself. You are special. You are unique. There are boundaries. There are certain character building and virtue building things to learn, to know that you're a good person that is contributing to the lives of others, to know that you're a worthy person. And you know, one of the biggest things that we find in psychology that holds adults back and young adults is the limiting belief of I'm not good enough. that holds back a vast majority of our population. And if we can get to the children early on and stack them with not overconfidence, but just belief and knowingness and some of these great skill sets like critical thinking and problem solving, we can really empower them. So I see a huge shift happening. I see programs like ours becoming the way of the future. We've been so well received by...
It sounds to me like you're setting this up for the emotional maturity to have a better spiritual growth, which would round the whole thing out. Is that what's going on?
Absolutely. No, you're completely right. Emotional maturity is going to be everything in the future, and I think people are already realizing it. And it doesn't take much to do that. Just a little bit of extra work and a little bit of extra guidance. And our platform is interactive. It's fun. It has games. It has modules. And it's a fun community atmosphere where the kids can go to learn and grow and learn about the things that they enjoy, learn about themselves, share with one another. And so we're excited about the potential of what it's going to do over the next couple of years in the education space.
I am too. Thanks for being a guest.
Thank you, Michael.
You're welcome. All right. You've been watching CEO Money with Michael Yorba. Thanks for joining with us. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.